I could clearly hear Rena sobbing from the other side of the paper door. I was Mi-chan, made a successor to demons. Maybe it just had to happen that way. But it's just so awful. Something hot burned down my cheeks. They were my tears. I fiercely wiped them away. This was the last of my time I could offer to Mion, so I absolutely didn't want to let her see my tears during it. Mion was already waiting outside the front door. Got an achievement called Sorry About That. I put on my shoes, tapped my toes against the floor a few times, then left, and Mion timidly came over. Why is she turning all red at a time like this? Can I hold your arm? It was such a modest request. I don't mind. With my permission, her face lit up with glee, like a child being given a toy, and took my arm. Do you get kind of nervous with your arm through mine? You're not thinking, for example, that I suddenly put you in a world-class joint lock or something, or anything. You say the same things. Is it you two say the same things? I don't think that at all. Back when nothing had gone wrong yet. During those nostalgic days of the bustling commotion at Angel Vault, I counted back and was amazed. It had only been a week ago, 1 week ago. I had been arm in arm with Shion then too. Making odds with me like this really reminded me that they were twins. How much strength they put into it, their sensation of their arms, their warmth, and the blood flowing. I could feel that their living sensations were all exactly the same. I think Shion liked you, Kei-chan. I see. If this were a regular conversation, I might have jumped back red in the face. Right now though, no matter what I heard, my mind remained at peace. Mion and Shion, you got along well, didn't you? Well, I wonder. Kei-chan, do you think your right hand and left hand get along? Huh? My right hand and left hand? I don't think you could describe them as getting along or not. That's how our relationship is. You can't measure it by the scale of how well we get along. That didn't sound like it meant they got along really well. For example, one of your hands is dominant, so there will always be a better hand. If you only had one other bit, you put it on your dominant hand without thinking, right? I think maybe it was like that for us. That doesn't mean, though, that anyone would be okay with losing their left hand. It's that kind of unexplainable relationship. I think that maybe you live too close together and just start being able to see it, but I think that means you get along really well. I'm an only child, so the day before the festival, I was really jealous of when you and Shion were messing around with each other. I think you're jealous of something that doesn't exist. Yes, we twins used to have a lot of fun playing tricks on people, but now that we have such distinctly different personalities, it just gets in the way. Were they cursed or were they self-conscious? Their relationship was hard to understand for an outsider. Maybe that wasn't an issue someone like me should intrude on. Just staying silent and nodding gently was the best way to advance the conversation. Mion passed through the wide yard and invited me into the big desolate forest we'd seen on the way in. Such a big forest was part of their property, so I couldn't help but feel small. It's huge. You must have had a great time playing in it as kids, huh? Mion seemed to be silently reminiscing. I couldn't look into her mind, but she was probably thinking back to those fun days when they played as sisters without any antagonism. Every time the wind blew, it caressed the treetops and leaves, making a swishing, murmuring sound. Mion remained silent for a long time, thinking back on her younger sister, whom she gotten rid of with her own hands. There was no need for me to get a word in. Just walking like this, arm in arm, was enough. Mion suddenly stopped and turned. Shion is still alive. Really? Mion took a hard look into my eyes, then nodded quietly. Yeah. I've been thinking to give her the most horrible death of all, so I had her locked up. I never did think of a good way to do it though. Mion sounded as though she hated Shion, but also, deep down, she didn't completely detest her. So I took my other hand and rustled Mion's hair with it. Mion didn't only save me, he saved Shion as well. Mion may have become a demon and led many to their deaths, but she fought against it and was able to save 2 people. As I petted Mion, she narrowed her eyes into an entranced smile and untangled her arm from mine. Then Mion quietly said, "Come with me. I want you to see all of my sins. Although Kei-chan, it might be the worst thing you ever seen." I could sense it. There, I would probably find all the sacrifices up until now. Looking at them would mean accepting Mika-chan and Sakato's deaths, as well as accepting that my best friend had done it. It's already happened, and it's all in the past. You can choose not to look, Kei-chan. If you don't want to, then wait here. I will personally end everything. I was taken aback by how ominous that sounded. I remembered what Rena had told me. Mion might not surrender herself to justice, but instead choose to put an end to things herself. I couldn't leave her on her own. Besides, I agreed to a lash request, didn't I? Even if it was hard for me to accept, I'll still do it. And if I avoided looking, it was something that had already happened. It doesn't matter what I see. Yes? Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have. That won't change. It never will. The treetops softly swayed in the wind. You and Rena both. Why do you only get really cool at times like this? Normally I'd say something rude right back at her, evading the question, but today I didn't. I just answered with a smile. At last, Mion started walking into the thick forest, into the deepest part. After following a thin path that looked like an animal trail for a while, we finally came across a steep incline of a tunnel that reminded me of a coal mine or bomb shelter. It was surrounded by shallow hills. It had been created in a spot not visible from the outside. There were many silhouettes of crows in the trees here and there. The abnormal odour I've been smelling for a while was doubtlessly escaping from inside this place. If you want to turn back, now's your chance. I don't know what kind of person Mion Sonozaki is to you, but if you go inside, that Mion will probably... She won't change. I'll say it as many times as I need to. Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have. I clench my fists. Inside there was probably a sight beyond anything I could imagine. If I let my guard down, I might end up vomiting. Even so, I'll endure it. I'll overcome this pain and this suffering. It will never change that Mion is my greatest friend. I know him more than a demon, so I don't understand human feelings anymore. I have a feeling though, that I know why Mion fell in love with you. Don't say that it's not related to you. You're Mion. You're not a demon. You're a human with human blood, and you're my friend. Mion made a gesture like she was wiping tears from her eyes, then placed her hand on the big door of the tunnel entrance. Now we head in, are we? The lock on it was dauntingly strong looking. It seemed to demand the appropriate resolution from whoever would enter, just like the ritual storehouse. When the double doors opened, a stifling rotten air and a bunch of winged insects came rushing out. I remember accidentally killing a hermit crab a long time ago by leaving its tank out on the porch, and how intense the odour it left was. If that was the smell of a corpse, then that's certainly what this smelled like. Inside it was pitch black, when Mion flicked a switch that turned on a light bulb, illuminating the interior. The bath turned into a series of intricate wooden tunnels. We passed spades that looked like they were for storage. No, we passed spaces that looked like they were for storage. We passed place that looked like someone had lived there. All this indicated that it had been used as a bomb shelter and stockpiled during the war. It didn't give an impression of a dugout bomb shelter that had been left there, though there was a sense of dignity, as though this were a second Sonozaki house constructed underground. Despite being in pitch darkness below the ground, the voices of the Crusaders were entering through an air hole somewhere, giving it a very mysterious feeling. You saw what was in the ritual storehouse, right? The piles of torture instruments. All of them were created to uphold the strict religious laws of Watanagashi village. They were tools used to kill those who broke the laws in terrible ways as a warning to others. That was a long time ago. Watanagashi, originally a ritual meant as a deterrent, was once overseen by the three families, but thanks to the Kimiyoshi and Furue families going into decline and the way of the times changed, actually carrying it out became difficult. I can imagine why. You never think people could be okay with drowning people in a swamp and killing them in modern Japan. That's why the Sonozaki family built this, a secret place, so that we could continue to conduct the rite of Watanagashi even in modern times. Mion opened a large, strikingly different door, and inside was no other than a modern storehouse of ritual implements. So they got like fresh instruments in here, not the old ones that we saw before. There's quite a few, isn't there? Some of them were actually brought here from the original storehouse. Of all the things that had been dusty and covered in dust, so they didn't seem that real. But the things in here were different. They weren't maintained, weren't they? Every one of them had been well maintained and kept in a state that they could be used right away. Blades gleamed and spikes were sharpened, also perhaps as a precaution for the splatter of blood. The walls and ceilings were covered in the kind of tiling that you would see in bathrooms, and there was even a drain set amidst a slight slope in the floor. There was also a coiled rubber hose along the wall attached to a faucet, perhaps for cleaning up the splattered blood. According to something a leader from a long time ago wrote, blood splatter has impact, despite the fact that it doesn't tax the sacrifice. Watanagashi was meant as a deterrent after all. My ancestors thought of all different kinds of things to show off. As she said that, Mion pointed deeper into the torture room to a spot veiled in darkness. There was, surprisingly, a room floored with tatami mats, and in the corner was a pile of cushions. They're seats for the audience. Watanagashi was meant as a deterrent after all. I wonder who would be invited to this, or forcefully invited to it. It wouldn't make sense if there were no guests. I couldn't speak, and I couldn't think of anything to say anyway. Except that if Mion revealing all this to me made her heart feel any lighter, then I was prepared to listen for as long as I needed to. Right here is where I killed everyone. There were no spectators to watch me, but I did the Watanagashi very well. Well, perhaps there was one spectator. Huh? A spectator? Me. I, the demon, was watching the entire time Mion held the Watanagashi ceremony. Mion cackled in self-deprecation. It wasn't a nice sounding laugh. Back there is the prison. Is Shion there? She nodded slightly. Mion's Watanagashi had ended today. I needed to tell Shion that I was safe without a moment's delay. After all, she was probably trembling in fear at this very moment, worrying about when she would be killed. The ostentatious door on the other side opened, revealing what must have been an incredibly expansive space based on the echo it made. Mion groped around in the darkness, and a handful of naked light bulbs came on here and there. As my eyes adjusted, more and more of the great cave showed itself in the faint light. The walls were bare rock surface, and it felt so savage that bomb shelter was the most apt term for it. There were small barred rooms built here and there, like holes made by insects fighting their way through a giant piece of fruit. It was immediately clear that each one of them was a prison. Where is everyone? Rika-chan and Sakato. Their corpses? I grimaced at her having said it so outright. Yeah, that's right. The poor things being left here in the dark like this. I didn't want them to get infested with bugs, so I threw them down the well. I'm sorry. Though I can't even see their faces in death. Once again, my feelings of regret having confessed everything to Rika-chan came surging forth. If Mion hadn't attached the word sorry to the end of what she said, I might have punched her. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. You said it yourself, no matter what, Mion Sonozaki is your greatest friend. Yeah, my greatest friend. I needed to hear myself say it out loud. Then came the clattering of bars in one of the cells deeper in. When I noticed it, I looked up as well. Shion? Is that Shion? K-chan? Is that you, K-chan? I ran over to the cell. White hands were peeking out through the gaps in the bars. It really was her. Are you alright, Shion? Are you hurt? No. Shion's face twisted out of shape as she screamed. It was because Mion had appeared right behind me. Of course. Shion didn't know that everything was over yet. Calm down, Shion. Everything is already over. Everything. I spoke as calm a voice as I could manage to try to soothe the agitated Shion. However, it didn't seem like it was getting through her screams. Shion, how have you been? No more. Please. No more. I don't want to see anyone else die. If you hate me, then just kill me already. I'm the one you hate, right? Kill me right now. Sis. Calm down, Shion. It's all over now. It's going to be alright. So calm down. Shion, who was screaming and rattling the iron bars back and forth, was truly in a frantic state. I gave a slight shrug of resignation, giving way to Mion. I had realised that if Mion was the one who locked her in here, and if Mion was the one who had scared Shion this much, then Mion was also the only one who could put an end to this. Mion spoke over my shoulder, quietly. Relax. I won't kill you. No, I won't kill you just yet. He burst out into a bizarre laugh, as if trying to make Shion's madness even worse. Shion broke out into a fierce shiver, brought on by that laugh, and rattled the iron bars as she wailed. Please stop. Don't kill K-chan. K-chan has nothing to do with this, does he? If you're going to kill someone, then kill me right now. I don't want anyone else to die. If you want to die that badly, then after I've killed this man, I'll take my time making mincemeat out of you. In accordance with the ancient rites, I'll do it slowly, starting with your extremities. I'll shave you down and mince you. I had that mincing machine set up specifically for you after all. Or it could be funny if I were to mince up K-chan in front of you. Hey, quit it already. What do you have to gain by scaring her at this point? No, K-chan, run away! I tried to rebuke Mion for flinging terrible words at her this late in the game, but when I turned around, Mion's mouth, so much so that it was hard to believe, had twisted into a shape even thinner than the crescent moon. It was a smile. I could sense it like a jolt of electricity. The person here wasn't my best friend Mion. It wasn't the Mion Sonozaki who had been tossed about by her heavy duty of succeeding the Sonozaki family either. Then, who was she? Ba-bam! I saw sparks flying before my eyes. Like what happens when you get hit in the back of the head. The strength of my body drained instantly, and my head suddenly became heavy. My knees buckled under the temptation and hit the floor. Then, my whole body abruptly collapsed. My face should have hit the floor, but it was comfortable, as if I had fallen onto a down-filled futon. My consciousness reeled, then receded. It was the kind of sensation like if you took a nap in the car, but you were still half asleep, and could listen to your parents talking as if they were really far away. No, you wouldn't be listening, you would only be hearing it. It was happening so far away, and the conversation was completely unrelated to you, so you would have no interest in it. So whether Shion was yelling in my ears or Mion was in vulgar hysterics, I didn't think it annoying, nor did it interest me. Now then, I wonder how I should go about preparing you. Oh yes, what do you think of a bed of nails? I tested on those two little brats, but their hands were too small for the restraining table. Let's do that, ha 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 ha. Mion held me up from behind and dragged me across the floor. The soles of my feet scraped on it, and one of my shoes fell off. No! Please stop, sis. Please stop. Gion's emotions exploded outwards, and she burst into bitter weeping. As if her cry had whetted Mion's interest, she flung me down and returned to the prison cell again. My, you sure can cry in a cute voice, can't you? Your unnatural bravado was making my skin crawl, but this definitely suits you the best. Coo. Mion, my big sister, I beg you. I don't care how you choose to kill me, but please, at least let ch.2 go. I'm begging you. Mion had always acted as though she were a cut above her older sister. That's Shion, in such a miserable voice that I couldn't have imagined it during those peaceful times. Procrastinated herself before the older sister, she used to scoff at and pleaded forgiveness. Mion looked down with an expression of cruel indifference, one that was plainly smiling with joy. You know, I wasn't planning on listening to your petty wishes. The way you're crying though is just too funny. I think maybe I'll change my mind and listen to you. Since, come to think of it, I never did anything big sister-like for you. Yes. Thank you so much. Alright then, let's hear you apologise for everything. Then maybe I'll let you be water under the bridge. And maybe, just maybe, I'll let ch.2 go. Mion said she might let me go, but she never said anything about letting Shion go. Before long, Shion got on her hands and knees behind the bars and began to speak weak words of apology. They were too faint for me to hear, but their intention got across. Despite having watched her with her magnificently jubilant expression, Mion kicked the bars and declared she was unsatisfied. You think you can make up for the years of grudges and hard feelings like that? That just will not do. I guess I could make mincemeat out of the both of you. No. Wait, sis. One more chance. Just one more chance. Mion stopped and waved her hand again in resignation. Not because she had grown impatient, but only because she was taking delight in abusing Shion. You can apologize my satisfaction away. I'll teach you how to make an apology that will get through to your older sister. I'm only going to tell you once, and if you get even a letter wrong, you're out. Got it? Yes. Thank you, sis. Shion's miserable voice cried out, having become utterly hoarse. The sensation tearing through my chest returned a little at a time. I realised it was the feelings of anger bubbling up. I was slowly regaining control of my body. I was only able to feel my skin and my blood flowing at the moment. I I still couldn't voluntarily move my fingers. Did you memorize it? Then let's hear you say it, sincerely and faithfully, from beginning to end, with all your heart. If you can do it properly, then I'll only kill you. Yes. Thank you so much. Something was strange. Something that had become strange at some point. Until a few moments ago, I was sure this had been Mion, but at some point, she had become someone else. The Mion I knew well wouldn't do something so natty like enjoying trampling all over someone's dignity like this. Now, let's hear it. Your big sister is listening closely. Shion Sonozaki is... When I ran over to Shion's cell earlier, had the real thing been swapped out with the fake right behind me? Anyway, this couldn't possibly be Mion. Shion Sonozaki is a lowly, worthless soul, not fit to even lick her big sister Mion's feet. And when I think of it, the countless times I've been rude to my sister without knowing my place. Yes, that's the spirit. I'll permit you to say a little more now, okay? Blood circulated through my whole body. My numb senses were returning. Just a little more. While Shion is still holding Mion's... No, that thing pretending to be Mion's attention. Hurry up. I reflect on how permanent I've been, and swear loyalty to my big sister Mion for the rest of my life. So, Mion's burst of laughter echoed throughout the big cave, growing into a terrifying level. Oh, it's a shame I can't do big laughs at the moment. That was not the laugh of someone who was alive in this world. It was none other than the laugh of a demon from the bowels of the earth. She laughed from her stomach until she grew tired of it and started smiling suddenly as if snipping a wire. Alright already, that was funny enough for me. I didn't think you'd actually throw away that much of your pride. That was plenty enjoyable. Mion began to drag me again. After I got the feeling my body back, I pulled me towards the torture chamber, as Anne pulled me towards the torture chamber. Sis, only kill me. Please, forgive him. Don't worry, alright? I'll be sure to kill you real good. After letting you get an earful of K-Chan's screams, that is. No!